thanks for the speaker. I'm just going to kind of go over a few things. Mine's more of a perspective type one, okay? He missed that didn't win the game, right? That's what you kind of remember. You know, you're trying to get a lot of things right. You expect yourself to do those things right, but it's times when you kind of miss that, you know, I wish I could do over there. So, and not that I screwed it up bad. You know, my kids aren't in therapy or anything like that. So, anyway, but I kind of want to just talk about some coach or whatever. Hope it's going to apply a little bit. A lot of this maybe with your dad here and you're coaching kids or you got grandkids, whatever, that type of thing. Hopefully some of this will resonate with you. So anyway, so one of the big things that when I look back at, what was the performance side, right? Okay, you're coaching, your kids are playing, performance versus effort. And I found myself, you know, you get caught up in games, and this is going back 9 and 10, 11, 12, and all of a sudden, I'm letting the emotion of my kids' performance on the field kind of dictate how I'm handling them, how I'm coaching, right? Versus loving their effort. You know, it was more about the outcome and the result, and I was results focused versus the effort focused and loving the game. And I got caught up in that. And they can tell you that I had a few bad days, and I knew that. Yeah. So anyway, but should I talk about Farmington? Or maybe not? No, not Farmington. Okay. We're playing Farmington, okay, right? It's one of those deals. And we're playing, and Farmington's got this one kid. He hits like 2 home runs this day. And my guys, of course, they're littler guys. They're there. And I've got 3 boys on the line. I think they're 0 for 12 for the day. You know, they're having a great day, so I'm pretty happy. So we get done with the game. We get whacked. And I'm just like, really not. You got to be freaking kidding me. You know what I mean? We come over here, you know, and my number 9 hitter is hitting seeds all over the place. I'm like, perfect, you know. And so everybody goes to get lunch afterwards. Oh, no, not us. No, we're going to another field over there. We take batting practice for an hour and a half. We're hitting and these kids are starving like, Dad, we get some lunch. I was getting lunch today. Nobody's getting lunch. So we get another game started in about 15 minutes. We run back over the other field. I'm like, Dad, look, here's $1. Go split a bag of popcorn, boys. Knock yourselves out, you know. A little crazy, right? A little effort focused versus performance focused. I learned later. I'm sitting in a couple years later. That was one of the bad days. Most days were much better, obviously. But I'm sitting in a game when my oldest, Josh, and then these guys are just a year younger, twin boys, Justin and Jordan. And Josh, the fresh, we're sitting at a Sunday afternoon wood bat league game. Remember we played those? Yeah, back in the day. So anyway, I'm sitting in a bucket next to Steve McAllister, who's this guy with the Diamondbacks, son Zach. So anyway, who Thomas scored 35 against Tyson. So anyway, and we're sitting there, and we're talking about it. And Josh is sitting there. He's a little freshman, you know, with a wood bat in his hand as a freshman playing against, you know, juniors and seniors. Some guys out there throwing. Josh can barely hit a little dinker past the infield. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, you know, and that type of thing. And he plays second base, and somebody on the field though, and somebody hits a little flare over second base. You know, Josh turns around, runs like this, over the head catch, boom, gets it, just goes like nothing. Steve just looked at me and he goes, Josh is going to be a star. I'm like, what do you mean, Josh? I said, he can't hit the ball out of the infield. He said, dude, he said, you can't be focused. So focused on results. Understand these kids are at different places. They're going to mature. They're going to develop. Just let them enjoy the game. Watch the effort. Watch some of the little things, you know. So made that adjustment. So I always encourage you, if you're doing it, don't let the results dictate. Because what you're building then, if my kids played well, they had dad's approval. If the kids did play well, they had dad's disapproval. And what you're building then is a conditional relationship with your kids or a additional relationship with your players. And that's not what we want. We want an unconditional relationship that no matter what happens out there, dad believes in you, dad loves you, right? It's unconditional. That's the goal. And that's one of the things. I figured it out. Wish I'd have done a little bit later. So that's a key thing for me. The language you communicate with, I'll go quickly. There's a couple words I never used. One was disappointment. I learned that early on from somebody who's about 15 years older told me about that. So don't use the word disappointment with your kids. And so I never did. If I say, I'm disappointed in you. Okay, you're out there, I'm really disappointed in you. That's a downhill thing. I'm disappointed in you, in who you are. That goes right to their heart. I never said that. Now, that I say, you know, you didn't run that ball at first base, I'm a little ticked off. You know, that kind of makes me mad. Well, that's about what they did, the decision they made. Jordan chose. Why do I always use Jordan when it comes to this stuff? You know?
He was the least coachable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he would argue with anybody. You know, years ago, you guys remember when like the internet stuff started getting big? There was a company called Net Zero. Remember that Net Zero? Their motto was Net Zero, Defender of the Free World. Yep. We called Jordan Net Zero because he would argue with me about anything, right? So, anyway, so I never use the word disappointed. You know, I would say, I think a young man or their daughter or kid you're coaching can understand if you say, I'm really not happy with that effort. You didn't run the ball. Instead of saying, I'm really disappointed in you. That's more in the person you are. So you think it's a little thing, but I think how we communicate with our kids is really good. And then it allows you to say, it's not disappointed in you. They said, I'm not happy with this. And what this is not them. It's this, not here. So it removes the personal side of it. And then you can actually talk about it was. You hit the ball. Don't give it to three hopper to second base. You got to sprint, man. You got to run the ball out, right? So the other word is fine. I don't like the word fine. What do you think, Dad? How'd you do fine? That doesn't tell them anything, right? Fine's my least. These guys know it. I hate the word fine. I said, how you doing? Fine. I'm like, that's not a word. That tells me nothing, right? Don't use the word fine. So those are a couple of things when you communicate. I really believe in the positive energy versus negative emotion, right? Positive energy. You can hit a three hopper. You can fly down to first base. That is positive energy. Okay, that encourages people. Guys, that's a great effort. If I'm playing a guy like that, I know that guy's here to win. If I hit that same three hopper and I do one of these things down there, that's negative emotion. You throw it back to a helmet. That kind of communication helps nobody. It does not resonate, doesn't send a message to your team or the team you're playing. So we talked about that type of thing. And I'm trying to go fast here. Let me get some water. Okay, very good. The biggest, I think, component as we are trying to coach and with the young men and women we're coaching or our kids, I think is the belief part. Okay? We have the most valuable thing I think we can do, at least I always felt I could do for my sons, is I felt I was responsible for those two biggest things were their self-esteem and their identity. Those are the two things that, I guess I'm talking to dads now here, that I feel that we're responsible for. Okay? Because those two things are that makes up so much of who they end up being. Right? So they need to know we believe in them no matter what. How they're performing no matter what. We need to know, because I will tell you, and everybody who played, you will tell me this, no matter whatever you play, there's a point in your life, in your career, whether it's early on in grade school, high school years, later in college or professionally, you're going to have a crisis of belief. You're going to wonder, am I good enough? Do I belong? What am I doing here? Right? You're going to have that. You will have that point. Okay? And especially when you're younger, those kids are younger, they're going to have those moments. And that's when they need to know if they're struggling. They don't need dad to criticize them. They need to know right then and there, the most important things they could hear from their coach, their dad, whatever, is I believe in you, man. I think you're going to be great. Justin will talk about that a little bit, part of his thing. I remember Josh, my oldest, after sophomore year, he was invited up to the White Sox at the area code games, which is a pretty big deal. And Steve McAllister got him that invitation because we were downstate, really not real well known. But he got a chance. It's all the best kids in the Midwest. Going to take a 16U team. The White Sox are going to take a 16U team, kids from the West, out to play in California. And so we show up for that thing, right? It's a big showcase type tryout, showcase deal where you're going to hit a few balls, you're going to take some ground balls, you're going to throw, you're going to run your 60. It's all that kind of stuff. And so we get out of the car and we show up, and Josh's not a big kid. That time he's probably 5'9", maybe 140 pounds, whatever. And we get out and we walk in, these kids, there's 200 kids there. There's kids that are from the Rawlings prospect team in St. Louis, and they're big, and they're big, strong, guys are shaving, one guy's got his own baby, right? And Josh was walking in like here in the head, like, what in the heck? And I know he was terrified. I'm just hoping he pee his pants, that's what I'm hoping. So I'm just peeing mine, so, right? Anyway, so we walk in, we go get registered, and I come look and I said, how you doing, man? He goes, I don't know, these guys look really good. Well, I said, they look really good. What's that mean? He goes, I don't know. Hey, look at these guys. I mean, they're from all over. They got great, all this swaggy gear and all this kind of stuff. And we're showing up with our 2-button Henley, right? And I said, dude, he said, what are you worried about? He goes, I don't know, man. I don't know if I even want to do this. I said, you're going to do this. I said, I'll tell you one thing right now. I don't know these kids, but I know how you feel a ground ball. And you're the best shortstop here. There's nobody going to feel the ball like you. I guarantee you, there's no one here that can do what you can do. So I was trying to believe it, and you should see him going from this kind of guy. I said, really? I said, absolutely. He said, why do you know? I said, there's just things I know. So, are there times you lie to your kids? Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know if he was the best shortstop there.
You'll get bigger, Justin, we promise.
No kidding, right? That's a true story. But that's important. But you know what? That changed everything for him that moment, because he was experiencing that crisis in belief in his heart. He didn't know if he belonged. He didn't believe he didn't believe he was good enough to be there. And there's probably like, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to get embarrassed. I don't want to fail. I don't want to get humiliated. Whatever all the feelings you're feeling. But there's that little affirmation, right, from that person, from the dad, which we can do with our sons like nobody else can. I really believe that. Or coaches can do like nobody else can. Is a game changer, right? Then it goes to their identity. When they know who they are, they're comfortable skin, they develop confidence. It's amazing what happens, the transformation with you get a confident young man. There's a huge difference, too. We've talked about this between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is just show. Arrogance is having the right gear, the right this, acting this way, whatever. Confidence is totally different. Confidence is just the opposite of all that. Confidence is a guy who believes. Confidence is a guy, and this is what we want. Confidence is a guy who can be having a bad day. He could be going over 3, and his buddy Billy is just lighting it up, and that you can be happy for that guy's success. And that's the kind of young man you want, right? A confident man, because he can be happy. No matter what's going on in my world, I can be confident. I can enjoy his success. But you are having a great day and be happy for somebody else having a great day when you're not. That's confidence, because it's not about, that moment, having a great, that particular moment. What makes a great player? It's just a guy who does things right every day. The guy who's just committed to doing things right. I was talking about Derek Jeter, right? Derek Jeter. How many times is Derek Jeter the American League MVP? Does anybody know how many times? No. Zero. Never. Derek Jeter was never the American League MVP. Now he's a World Series MVP, All-Star Game MVP, but never the MVP of the American League. But when I ask you, who's one of the greatest shortstops of all time, what are you going to say? You're going to tell me Derek Jeter, aren't you? You know what? He was an average defender. He caught the ball well. Everything was hit to him. Average range, not great speed. I'll tell you what, he did things right every day. Derek Jeter hit a ground ball, and he sprinted. He flew it to first base. And he was flying for every single game, every single time, every single game. Okay? There's a confident guy who just did things right, who's committed to that process. We keep going. Let's see here. I'll talk a little bit real quick about the dreams. I'll talk about kind of the goal-setting part. But we'll talk about helping your kids set goals, right? Well, it starts with the dreams. I remember asking these guys, playing baseball. They loved it. They're really enjoying it. So, and I would talk to them individually. So, what do you think about baseball, man? I mean, do you love the game? Yeah, I love it. Oh, what do you want to do? Well, yeah, I want to be a big leaguer. I listen to dads say, oh, that's a silly dream. You're not good enough to be a big leaguer. Well, this kid's 10 years old, 11, 12 why would you say that? I was there sitting next to Steve McAllister one time, and some kid comes up there, and he's a little guy, and says, yeah, I want to be so-and-so, this kind of stuff. And I told my kid, I said, you know what, that's silly to have that dream. And Steve just looks at me and goes, well, somebody's got to make it. Somebody's got to be a big leaguer, right? Why can't it be you? Our job is not to crush our kids. Some people, I want to be honest. I want to be this. Yeah, we have to be honest. We have to help our kids learn to self-evaluate as they get older, right? Because we don't want to create a misconception about life. Reality. But at the same time, let the dream be true. Let the dream happen, right? Dreams breathe life into goals. Okay? Dreams breathe life into goals. So when you set the goals, they're excited about those goals. And we're not going to talk about, you guys know goals, and I said, we have the things we want to do, all right, with goals, that kind of stuff. But they're important, but the part we'll talk about with the goal part is getting a plan together. You want to get a plan together. What do you have a plan? That plan, are you talking to kids as they get older, if they love baseball and they tell you, I want to play in college. I really want to play in college. Okay, let's be serious. If you want to play in college, and here's the thing, we're going to talk about your nutrition. We're going to get you lined up with a trainer. Okay? We're going to get you working. So there's things I don't know how to know anything. I'm thinking about training, right? But we're going to talk about those things. We're going to hit X amount of days in the cage, this and this and this. We're going to have a plan. And at come time, we're going to talk about the showcases. We're going to pick some showcases we're going to go to. We're going to find out what schools you might want to try to play at. The ACC has a showcase. Some used to do one years ago, right? So those things, get a plan together and get committed to it. And then you've got to step into it and say, okay, you've done the schools. What's my role? I said, I'm your partner. I promise you. And they'll tell you. I said, I'm in this 100%. I'll never tell you no. You go to a BP, it may be not right at that moment. It may be a little bit later. It may be no now, but it'll be, or not now, but it'll be a little bit later. We're going to throw, we're going to hit. And we did that. And all parts of it. Mom was on the nutrition. These guys couldn't gain weight, so it was whole milk. I said, buy as much whole milk and roast beef as you can. Make sure you find the fattest roast beef you can find, right? You know, all the little things we did to try to help with that part of it. I'll kind of quick wind it down here, but let's see here. Yep, you depart. Okay, very good. With a plan. I'm trying to go quick. I'll say one other thing here. Okay, when we did the work, we did a lot of work. I threw a ton of BP. We spent a ton of time in cages. But I'll tell you, there's days when, as dads, we have to recognize that today's just not the day, you know. And I'll tell you, there's days in the batting cages, I'm out there, and it's summer. I leave for lunch at work and run up to the high school, the batting cages, and I'm changing in the parking lot, you know, that kind of stuff. So my shorts and this kind of, I got my wet wipes for my towel shower when I'm done. And I'm up there, and I'm like, so we get the kids up there, you know, we're going to hit the day up. We made a plan, we promised today we're going to hit. So anyway, so I'm throwing, and Jordan's in there, and Jordan gets up there, and he thinks, you know, he's being Vlad Guerrero, you know what I mean? And he's, you know, doing this kind of stuff, and Josh gets over and goes, yeah, he doesn't bat left-handed, but he's hitting left. He said, what, don't I look like Ichiro? Doesn't the swing look just like Ichiro? He's like, then I'm trying to find Justin. Justin's trying to trap this ground squirrel. He's got a little stick in his hat, set up by this ground squirrel, you know, and he's trying to, where's Justin? He's trying to catch that. And there's some days you just say, you know what, boys? Why don't we get some ice cream? You know? And so we did. And there's a number of those days, right? There are just some days when you just go get ice cream, right? Okay, because it's got to be fun. So that's a quick version.